What's going on? Welcome, everybody. Can you hear me okay? All right, welcome. Is everybody on vacation today? I thought banks were closed today, but they're not. We got wires coming in, so that's a good thing. Business as usual, but they are closed tomorrow. Well, if you are not on vacation today and you are ready to learn about some real estate investing, today's a good one. Today we're going to be talking about what is going to make you not just a successful real estate investor, but also a successful real estate professional. Because there's a lot of different ways to approach buying deals. And today we're going to cover a few. Matter of fact, we cover them all here in this entrepreneur real estate workbook. In more detail with equations, diving through how to analyze these deals, formulas, a step-by-step process of everything that you need to know. And it comes with the live recording of the Entrepreneur Real Estate Workshop. However, we're going to cover some of this today, and we're going to talk about solutions. We talk to a lot of people regularly, and it's hard for some to comprehend, all the different solutions that you have when you're approaching sellers, you're talking through deals. And, maybe I've been lucky that, I was never trained from, one singular aspect. Instead, I was trained from viewing it from, how to be creative and how to get deals done. And that's just been my experience the whole time. And so I really want to work on having everybody, unlearn everything that they've learned in the past about, how to view things and become open-minded to all the different solutions that are available for real estate entrepreneurs. So before we go in and dive into this, and, we're not going to have enough time today to cover every single potential solution out there, but we're going to cover some of the main ones. But before we do that, I would really love it if everybody can comment, what solutions you know about when you're talking to sellers. Whether you are a real estate agent, a wholesaler, buy and hold investor, fix and flip. I just named a few of the solutions, but I really want to open this up and see where everybody's at, what viewpoint you view real estate and deals from. That way we can dive into opening that mindset to considering all potential exit strategies. Comment below. We got YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Welcome Instagram, TikTok. For those of you who are just joining, we're going to be covering solutions today. We're going to be covering exit strategies. We're going to be covering how to view deals, how to be creative, and how to navigate your way through these conversations to always find a solution for a seller. Do we have any comments, Kat? Who are you texting in there?
I just asked whether some solutions.
All right, so yeah, what are some solutions? What do you do? Here at TRE, the Entrepreneur Real Estate Brokerage, home of the entrepreneur, we get a lot of licensed real estate agents who come here and they want to, approach real estate through the entrepreneur path. But when they get here, it's so hard for them to unlearn everything that they've been taught at their previous real estate brokerage. They were taught buyers, sellers, leasing. Buyers, listings, leasing. When you go meet with a seller, the only solution you got for them is listing their property. And it's not great because most sellers I talk to actually don't want to list their property for whatever reason. Money is usually not the reason why somebody wants to sell, or it's not the sole reason, and it's not the sole factor in the deal is where they can make the most money. There's a lot of emotional reasons, and everybody's situation is different. And so I think that is one of the first things that you need to understand. Write this down, get out your pen and paper. Today's going to be packed full of information. So write down your questions, ask your questions, write down notes. But today we're talking about the exit strategies. But I think one of the first things that you need to understand is when you're talking to sellers and you're putting deals together, money and the most money possible is usually not the sole motivation for them wanting to sell. And it's not the sole reason that they're going to make a decision on which way to go. Money is important, and money will likely provide them one of, some sort of solution to whatever problem they are experiencing. However, it's usually not the sole factor in their decision-making process. So, real estate agents, wholesalers. I like drawing out this pie chart. I think it's semi-effective in explaining all the solutions and really kind of opening one's mind to, don't judge my circle. It's not perfect. But I like drawing out this pie chart because this pie chart represents all potential solutions for a seller. And what we have to explain to real estate agents is that listing their property right here, listing their property is one potential solution. And it makes up a very small percentage of sellers who this is the best solution for them. Wholesalers, you're right here. Most sellers do not want to sell their property for 50% of its value just so that you can make a wholesale fee. Now, there are people who this fits, but it's not everybody. And so if you are a listing agent, that's what LA stands for, or if you are a wholesaler, that's what WHO stands for. If you are a listing agent or you are a wholesaler and you are going and speaking to sellers about their problem, about the property that they want to sell, and you are presenting them with this one option that you know how to present, you're missing out on all the other potential solutions that might best fit this seller's need. Now, I assume that if you are a wholesaler or if you are a listing agent and you go on a lot of appointments and you speak to a lot of sellers, there's a high likelihood that 95, 96% plus of the sellers that you talk to, listing it and or you buying it as a wholesale deal does not work for them for one reason or another. Now, why would this be the case? Why would somebody, I need your participation here. Post it in the comments, post it in the chats. Why would somebody who wants to sell their property not want to list the property on the market and sell it for as much as they possibly can? What are some reasons why? Kat, what do you think?
They don't want the traffic or attention on their property.
Sure, they may not want people coming in and out of their house. What are some other reasons? Timeline. Maybe they need to sell it in the next 15 days for whatever reason. Therefore, listing the property on the market likely is not the best scenario.
Need quick cash, don't want to do showing.
Quick cash, don't want to deal showings. Yep, that's both things I just mentioned. Paulie says their house is ugly. Yeah, their house might be ugly. However, you can list ugly houses, right? And listing an ugly house on the market is, the place where most potential buyers would see it. Sure, they're going to get a lot of investor offers. They're not going to sell it for ARV value, but listing it on the market, even if the house is ugly, could still be a good option for somebody. Paulie also said they don't want to spend the money to get it ready. Sure, absolutely. They don't have the capital to put into the renovations. They don't have the capital to put into getting it up to market value. You hear a lot of people talk about how they don't want to work with real estate agents. Yep, insecurity of showings. Yep. People don't like change as well. People don't want to work with real estate agents for one reason or another. A lot of times they'll say, I'm not pay any commissions. I don't want to work with any real estate agents, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they don't want their neighbor next door knowing that they're selling. They don't have the time. The list is endless. There's so many reasons why somebody would not want to list their property on the market. And a lot of times it doesn't have to do with money. And so one of the first things I say when I'm talking to sellers is I always ask them, well, why don't you want to list it? You know, listing it on the market is where most buyers are going to see it. It's where you're going to most likely get the most money possible for it. Sure, you're going to have closing costs. You're going to have real estate commissions, things like that. To get the actual market value of this property, you are going to need to update it. We're going to need to declutter the house, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to come in, put a sign in your yard. We'll list it on the market. Every potential buyer who's looking for a house that meets this criteria in this price range in this neighborhood will be seeing the house. We're going to host showings. We're going to negotiate. We're going to go under contract with a buyer, hopefully. Maybe this takes 30, 45 days. Then hopefully they're able to close on the property. They don't drop the contract and we start the process all over again, blah, blah, blah. But because when you talk to these people, you have to kind of, bring them back to reality on selling this house. You know, we get a lot of people who fill out forms on our website for cash offers. And every time we call them, they always want market value or above and a cash offer. Well, yeah, of course you do. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But it's just not reality. I tell them, like, look, you can go to every other single website on here. Just go to Google and type in "sell my house fast for cash." Call every single one of them, and I guarantee you, not one of those companies are going to pay you market value for your property, close in 2 weeks, and pay cash for it. I guarantee it. You want to know why? It's because we're all investors. We need to make money on this somehow. Also, your property is not in perfect condition. You need to bring this property up. You need to update it. You need to do all the repairs needed. You got to fix that roof that's leaking. You got to fix all the drywall holes that your son punched a hole in the wall or whatever. They've all got issues with the properties. They all need work for the most part, and they all want to sell them at market value, and they want an investor to come in and pay cash for it. Well, it's just never going to happen. No one is going to do that, and I'm willing to bet, us buying this deal on that. I tell them, just call everybody else, and I guarantee you no one will do it. And so then I bring them back to reality and say, look, if getting $450,000 market value for this property is most important to you and selling this house, then what we should do, and the best way for you to get that, is for you to put money into the house and repair it, update it, get it up to ARV condition. We'll list it on the market, and then I explain everything I just did. And then usually after I kind of work through these conversations with them, you start to learn why they don't want to list it on the market. Well, no, I can't do that. I don't have $35,000 to update the property. I don't want to list it on the market. Selling it, I do want that price, but I'm not going to pay anybody any commissions. I don't want anybody coming in and disturbing my dogs, blah, blah, blah. I don't have enough time. Then you start to understand the objections of why they don't want to list their property. And it's a good amount of people. Most people actually would rather not list their property if they didn't have to. I mean, it's kind of a pain. You got to do all these things. You got to work with this real estate agent. You got to open your house up to all these people. You got to make sure everything looks good at all times. If you live there, you got to leave during showings. Like, it's kind of a pain in the ass to list your property for sale. And so most people would choose not to do that if they had another option. Now, this is where traditional real estate agents fall short, is that's the only option that traditional real estate agents know, is they only know to list this property for sale, throw it up on the MLS, host open houses, blah, 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 blah. And this is where you, the real entrepreneurs can come in and provide solutions to sellers that help solve a problem for them that no one else is offering to them. So after I talk to these sellers and I understand why they don't want to list their property for sale, then I go into, well, here are some other ways that we could buy it. I mean, we can make you a cash offer, and this kind of falls within the wholesale offer here. I can make you a cash offer for the home. We'll buy it. One of our investors will buy it. But look, we cannot pay this price that you're asking. It needs a lot of work done to it. Like you said, it needs $50,000 worth of repairs and updates. What? Who's that? It needs a lot of repairs or updates done to it. And we're investors, so we need to be able to make money on this too. Do you understand? Yeah, I understand. I understand you need to make money. Okay, cool. So we can make you a cash offer, but it's going to be substantially lower than you're wanting. What amount do you need cash? And I try and get them to throw out an offer. And eventually we come to some sort of number and I say, look, this is the cash price that we can pay. Oh, no, that's ridiculous. That's way too low. I'm not giving away this property for free, blah, 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 the things they all say. Okay, so you don't want to list it. The cash offer doesn't work for you. Here's another way that we can buy this property from you, is we can buy it via seller financing. So if we buy it from you via seller financing, I start running them through the seller finance formula to come to a number that explains, what I can pay for this property or with seller financing, but what I need my payment to be in order to cash flow. And in this process, I have to explain what seller financing is, how it works. I give you a down payment. I can typically pay higher prices for properties with seller financing, so long as the other terms make sense for us, and we can get some cash flow, and we can still get the return that we need as we are investors. So then we go through that, and then I start asking questions like, well, do you own it free and clear? What's your mortgage payment on it? What's your interest rate on it? How much money do you need right now? Why are you wanting to sell? Where are you going to go? There's endless amounts of questions to fully understand this person's situation and motivation to then start providing solutions to them. So seller financing is one option. Within seller financing, we can buy it subject to. So subject to is where we just take over their existing loan that's in place. So they have, a principal, even if they're underwater, it almost doesn't matter so long as, again, all the other terms make sense. If they owe more than the house is worth, we can still buy it like this so long as the other terms make sense and it's still a deal for us. But in this scenario, what we're able to do is say, look, you got a 2.5% interest rate. You've got a $350,000 balance on it. These situations don't work because of X, Y, Z. However, what if I give you $10,000? I'll take over the existing balance of the loan and I'll start making payments on it moving forward. And we can typically get some good deals like this so long as it makes sense for the seller where the other solutions didn't make sense.
How do you overcome sellers saying subject to is too much of a liability?
Huh?
How do you overcome sellers saying subject to is too much of a liability?
Why is it a liability?
The sellers are saying that.
Yeah, I know. So I would ask them. I'd say, why is it a liability? I mean, do they know it's a liability? Or has someone told them it's a liability? Or are they just kind of making this up in their head? Do they have valid reasons on why it's a liability? What's the liability about payments being made every month? And you sit there in silence, and sometimes it's awkward silence, but silence is where the deals are closed. So I would explain to them that we can use someone asked on Instagram, I believe, how do you combat sellers' objections who are saying subject to is a liability, the loan staying in their name. Well, a lot of times when subject to is the solution to their problem, they typically don't have other solutions that will work for them. So by the time we get here, we've already established that listing it on the market won't work, cash offer won't work, you know, some sort of seller finance won't work. Therefore, we need to buy this. We just need to take over their existing note that they have in place. So once we get to this point in the conversations and the fact finding and the understanding of this person's situation, typically they don't have many other options. Otherwise, we would have already chosen them. So that helps out. Is they don't really have many other options. I understand that you feel that it's risky. Well, I own 100 properties. I make my mortgage payments every single month. If I don't make my mortgage payments here, I'm going to lose this property. I'm going to lose the money that I'm giving you. And this is going to be a bad investment for me. We're not in the business of making bad investments. Here's a list of every single mortgage payment I made this month. Here's a list of every single property we own. So we can provide them security in that sense that we're the real deal, and I'll let them speak to any lender they want to that we work with, that we pay mortgages to every month. And also, too, we'll use a third-party processor so that they know that these mortgage payments are being made on time. But by the time we get to the subject to conversation, they typically don't have many other options. So it's not very hard. I mean, if they were solely against this, I would say, okay, well, what do you want to do? Let's list it. Oh, yeah, you said it didn't work because of that. Cash offer. You owe way more than the cash offer I would give you. This didn't work. So you just start running them back through. Anytime they have objections to any of these things as we get further into the solutions, I just say, okay, well, I start back at the top. Well, let's list it. Cash offer. And they don't really have many other options. So, typically if we're buying it subject to, they're the liability, not us for the most part. All right. So where was I at? What was I saying? Subject to, yeah, so we'll take over the payments. We'll give you this cash at closing. We'll own the property. We'll take the deed, and you'll get to move on and you'll get this cash. But we'll start making payments on your mortgage moving forward. Okay, so that's an option. You could, maybe you give these sellers a loan, right? Let's say listing it is the best option for the parties, but they don't have the $50K to fix it up. Maybe we give them the $50K. Maybe we get the deed to the house, or we get some sort of lien on the house. It'd always be better if we can get the deed, just so that we control it. But maybe we come to some sort of partnership agreement where we put the money in to fix it up, then we list it and split the profits X after we've been paid back our money that we put into it. That's an option. Right now, we're getting a lot of people call that want loans for whatever reason, to reinstate their mortgage, to do this, to do that. So what this is currently an opportunity that we're running into more frequently than we have over the last year and a half or so. So, we're really not in the business of lending money. Really, a lot of our strategy and game plan comes from owning real estate and buying good deals. Now, there is money to be made lending money. So over the past 2 weeks, we've structured a few deals where we take the deeds to properties, we lend money based on it. They pay interest rate in return. The moment they pay it back, we deed the property back to them. But we're securing these loans with the real estate. We own the properties. And that is another opportunity and another solution for sellers that can still get you a good return. Stop me if anybody has any questions, but the purpose of this is unlearning everything that you've been told, especially if you're a real estate agent, unlearning everything that you've been told about how listing is the solution for sellers when, maybe it is 5% of the time. But then you got 95% of the time, you need to figure out how to fill in the gaps with all these other solutions to help get deals done. And when you're able to do this and you know how to structure them and you know how to have these conversations and fully understand what somebody's problem is the moment you're going to be able to start closing deals left and right. And here's the cool thing about the entrepreneur method is the fact that you're not forcing anybody down any single path. You, like listing agents, typically try and force sellers down listing the property. And like I just said, many times that's not a great solution for them, and they'd actually prefer something else if the listing agent knew how to present it to them. Wholesalers, they're trying to buy these properties for pennies on the dollar. And yeah, it works in some scenarios, but a lot of times it doesn't work. So you need to learn how to understand these entrepreneur solutions and be able to present them effectively after asking the appropriate questions and fully understanding this person's situation so that you can solve their problem, have a win-win scenario, and each party get paid. What other questions we got? Here's the deal. This is just a few. There's just a few solutions. There's infinite solutions out there, infinite combinations of these solutions. And if you're able to come into these conversations, ask the right questions, really try and help this person, you're going to lay it all out on the table after you ask the right questions, and then they're just going to choose the best route for them. And in the process of doing so, you're going to make money in some way. Whether you're giving a loan, you're buying it, subject to seller finance, cash offer, you're listing it on the market for them. Listing it is usually the last thing we want to do. It's usually the thing that pays the least. And it's usually the last thing a seller wants to do if they had another option presented to them. What other questions we got? So here's another thing I want you guys to understand. When you're talking to sellers and you're finding motivation and you're speaking to decision makers and you're understanding what's going on, this is a timeline from point 0, let's call it initial conversation, IC, and point 100, so 0% to 100% of getting a deal closed, we'll call it DC, deal closed. About, I don't know the percentage, but definitely over 75% plus of the conversation is understanding motivation and situation. What is this person going through? You're asking the questions. You're trying to figure out what they really want, how much money they really need, where are they going to go, why. These are usually never property-specific questions. What's the condition of the property? How many bed and baths? Y'all can figure this stuff out just by going to Google, going to the tax records, going to Zillow if you're not a licensed agent. I mean, there's so much information out there that's free. Why would you ask them, how many bed and baths the property is? You just Google it while you're on the phone with them. You do want to understand the condition of the property, but only so that you can understand that piece of information to utilize it when presenting solutions. But you're just trying to figure out what is going on with this person. How long have they lived there? Why do they want to sell? When did they move in? How much do they want to get? Where are they going to go? Why do they want to buy there? Do they really need that? Why don't you want to list it on the market? How much cash do you really need right now? What's your loan balance? You're just fully understanding what's going on with this person so that you can start presenting solutions to their problem. But you're never going to be able to effectively present solutions to somebody until you understand their motivation and situation and whatever. You can never fully present a solution to someone's problem until you understand their problem. And then after you feel like you've got a good grasp and you fully understand why this person wants to sell and what's really going on, then the remaining percentage is just presenting solutions and letting them choose the best option for them. And here's the cool thing is when you do it effectively and you really know how to do this and you fully understand how to present these solutions to people, they're going to feel like you're on their side, which you are. You're allowing them to choose the best option for them. You're not forcing them down some path that they don't want to go down. You're not forcing them to sell their property. And force is a word used loosely here. I know that none of you guys are actually out there pointing a gun at people's heads saying choose this solution. I understand that. I understand that people say that wholesalers and blah, blah, force people to do things, and it's just not true. Obviously, that person chose the solution, and they thought it was going to be good for them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it. Now, when I'm using it loosely here, what I'm referring to is you're only presenting them one solution, therefore really only providing them one option to sell the property. And that's what I mean. Now, when you open it up and you provide them all options to sell their property and you're going to benefit from all of them, you're truly helping this person out and allowing them to choose the best one for them. So anyways, it's very important that you unlearn everything you've been taught about meeting with sellers, having these appointments, understanding how to identify someone's motivation and situation, because you can understand that all day long. But if you don't know how to effectively present solutions to them that meet the requirements of their motivation and situation, then understanding it's pointless. If you're just going to present them one solution, then why does it even matter? You should just start with saying, hey, I only know how to do one thing and one thing only, and here it is. It doesn't even matter what their motivation is. Just say, hey, here's the solution I know how to provide. Choose it or don't. But when you come and you say, hey, I got all these solutions here. Choose the one that's best for you. And you know how to present these and explain these and explain how these are going to help this person depending on what's best for them, and you allow them to choose, then it's typically a better scenario all around. Now, if you do need to unlearn this information and you feel like somebody did you wrong, somebody only taught you one solution, I would urge you to get this workbook. The workbook comes with it's like 9 hours of live recording trainings that run you through this workbook. And we'll explain all these solutions. We'll explain how to unlearn everything you've been taught. We'll explain a new way of approaching deals and the creative ways of taking these deals down. And I'm going to give it to you for free. And if you don't need to unlearn everything and you're starting from scratch, even better. You don't have to get rid of all the wrong information you've been told in the past. You can just start fresh here with this workbook. It's free. Again, I want to reiterate, free. I'm not charging you for it. We want you to have this information. All I ask is you pay for the shipping and handling. It's like $10. We'll send it to you. You'll get the 5 free bonuses that come with it. It's like over $600 worth of value. For $10, you just pay for the shipping and handling. But you're going to get this for free. And we don't have, how many do we have left? We only have like 100 left. We don't have many of these left. So make sure you get them now before they go away. But anyways, take advantage of this. The link to get it is in the bios. It's in the chats. Kat's going to put them here in the comments. It's free. We'll ship it to you. You get like 9 hours of the Entrepreneur Real Estate Workshop showing you how to view these things, understand these things. There's so much information in here. All the formulas teaching you how to analyze the deals, showing you step by step how to approach this stuff creatively to get deals done. And the reason that we're giving it away for free and the reason that we want you to have it is we want to partner with you. We want you out there finding deals. We want you to call us, send us an email and say, hey, I got this deal over here. They don't want to list it. They don't want a cash offer. The standard seller financing won't work, but hey, we can take it down via subject to. What do y'all think about it? Y'all want to partner on it? That's our sole goal. All we want to do is buy more real estate with you. We want to see your wealth grow. We know that all of us are going to grow together if everybody knows how to find good deals, analyze good deals, and take good deals down. We're looking for more partners. So again, get this book. If you need to unlearn everything that you have already been taught, get this book if you're brand new and you need the education to approach deals creatively. Let's go out there, let's find some deals, and we'll see you next week.